Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jackson.
Of Top Notch Sports. Today we're going to be going over the Green Bay Packers off-season salary review. Woo! Final one. This is the finale. We went through all 32 teams, and we're lastly covering this man right here, Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers, who came off of a phenomenal season. Aaron Rodgers winning MVP, which was an absolutely incredible season. Matt LaFleur, all came down to that final drive, guys. That final drive for the Green Bay Packers. Should Aaron Rodgers have stepped up and ran it? Should he have thrown it? Should they have went for it on fourth down? Those are some big questions that have been asked for quite some time now. But hey, let's move on. The offseason's up here, and let's see what we say that they're going to do during this offseason. So let's hop right into it, where Jackson will explain this first slide. Go ahead.
All right, how's it going, everyone? This team's negative $5.2 million in the hole. Definitely can get out of that hole with the right moves. Remember, these are the players currently under contract going into 2021. When we go over the notable losses, you'll see who they're losing. The free agency. Green is you cut and you save that cap space. Red, you cut and you lose. Going over the offensive side of the ball here, Aaron Rodgers had a phenomenal season, capturing all with the Most Valuable Player award. Not a lot of help around him. You got Devontae Adams, and that's about it. Definitely want to get some help at the receiving core. This offensive line could use some help. It's pretty solid. David Bakhtiari did tear his ACL towards the end of the season. Can miss some time to start next season. Other than that, it's pretty solid. Maybe you want to address a right guard. A.J. Dillon, the running back, they're going to lose Aaron Jones due to free agency. Get this rookie from Boston College last year. Hopefully he steps it up this next season. Might want to get some help at tight end. Going over the defensive side of the ball, they got Zadarius and Preston Smith coming off the edge. That's a solid duo there. Kenny Clark, one of the best D tackles in the league right now. Jair Alexander, one of the best young corners in the league, next to Josh Jackson. Pair him up there. Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos, solid safety duo right there. This team's pretty solid all around. They can definitely upgrade some positions, maybe receiver, tight end. So we'll have to see what happens and see what Matt LaFleur in this Green Bay front office do this offseason. Nick, over to you.
Absolutely. So, like Jackson said, this offense is pretty solid. Again, maybe some offensive line help at right guard. Maybe you draft a left tackle for replacement for Dave Bakhtiari for the beginning of the year. Wide receiving core, you want to look at it. Look, Devontae Adams is an absolute stud. You're going to need some help there. I've always been a fan of Equanimeous St. Brown coming out of college. We'll see if he can finally maybe even touch his potential that I thought he may have had. So far, he's been okay, but definitely not great. Marquez Valdes-Scantling's been a solid weapon for Aaron Rodgers over the years. And A.J. Dillon, absolute monster. I love this kid. I think that he should take the starting job this season if they allow him to take it. Look at the defense here. Like Jackson said, they need some help, but ultimately they're pretty solid. Maybe draft an inside linebacker. You got Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith coming off the edges. Jair is a solid cornerback. I'm a big fan of this team. I think that they can go far, and I think they can absolutely make another push in the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers as long as they get this man some more weapons. So let's go into the next slide where Mike will talk about the notable losses, the guys that currently are not under contract. Mike, go ahead.
Yep. So here's the notable losses. But first, before we get to this, I got to thank our numbers guy. This man always comes up clutch, saves us time after time. Noah the Bazooka Thompson. He is huge for us. He does a lot of great things, and without him, these videos wouldn't be possible. So let's get on to the notable losses because there are a lot of them for the Green Bay Packers. First, we got Corey Linsley, center. His expected contract is a 3-year, $29.1 million contract, and he played 70.7% of the snaps. Then we got Christian Kirksey, linebacker. His expected contract is a 1-year, $2.5 million deal, and he played 53.3% of the snaps. We got Rick Wagner, right tackle. His expected contract is a 1-year, $1.6 million deal, and he played 58.8% of the snaps. We got tight end Mercedes Lewis. He retired this past season, and he played 40.6% of the snaps. We got cornerback Kevin King. His expected contract is a 2-year, $6 million deal, and he played 64.6% of the snaps. We got breakout tight end Robert Tonyan. His expected contract is a 1-year, $5 million deal. He played 61.3% of the snaps. We got running back Jamal Williams, who's been with the Packers for quite some time now. His expected contract is a 2-year, $4 million deal, and he played 40.3% of the snaps. We got wide receiver Alan Lazard. He's expected a 1-year, $1 million deal, and he played 45.3% of the snaps. And here's the important one, running back Aaron Jones. He was a big part of the Packers' offense these last couple seasons, scoring a ton of touchdowns. His estimated contract is a 4-year, $58 million deal, and he played 51.8% of the snaps. And then we got Chandon Sullivan, cornerback. His expected contract is a 1-year, $1.8 million deal. And he played 71% of the snaps. The big loss here is definitely Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is a big loss. Losing him is a huge blow to the Packers offense, but I do think A.J. Dillon can step up. Was a huge fan of him coming out of the draft this past year.
Absolutely. So again, typically you want to bring back the guys that play a high percentage of snaps. They're familiar with the system. They have familiar faces in the locker room. It keeps the chemistry, continuity, and everything going. So again, you want to usually bring back these guys that play a high percentage of snaps. Thing is that you guys are in negative cap space. Again, we are using the floor for the cap space. So we're using the $185 million cap floor right now for these videos. One thing I do want to point out is Alan Lazard's contract. We said 1 year, $1 million. Again, Noah the Hugh Thompson. One thing that he does is if we're not guaranteed on a cap, he does put it at $1 million. I think Alan Lazard can fluctuate anywhere from $1 million to about $4 million contract for a year. So that's why he did do that. So let's go to the next slide where we're going to break down our potential targets. Potential targets, here you go. You see you're negative $5.2 million. That's why it's in red. Estimated cuts. Well, here's the thing. We're negative $5.2 million. We're going to say none. And here's why. Let's go back to the team. Zadarius Smith, we're not going to project restructures right now. That's something that we're not going to do. That can go any way. You know, restructure a contract, push it to the back end of the contract to free up money this year. That's absolutely possible. They can do it with Zadarius Smith. They can do it with Preston Smith. Maybe move $2 million with Preston. Maybe move $2 or $3 million with Zadarius. Maybe move some money back from Devontae Adams, right? And that could save up at least the $5 million that they're in the hole. Maybe that can get them to positive $8 million. With that being said, if you were to do that, then I would hope that you guys would bring somebody back like Robert Tonyan, maybe an Alan Lazard. But again, it's tough to predict a restructure. So we're just going to say right now with the money situation that we have, it's not worth cutting nobody, right? You're not going to go and cut Dean Lowry. That would only save $3 million. Then who are you going to cut from this list? Lucas Patrick. I mean, there's nobody else to cut. So to save that $5.2 million, and then if you were to cut $5.2 million, you're still at zero. So then you got to find another $10 to $15 million to make your signings. So again, we just did not find like it was necessary to cut nobody right now. We looked at the roster. I mean, they could cut little guys here and there, but again, that would barely get them to even right now. So again, depending on where the final salary cap goes, that would make this number fluctuate. And according to that, I mean, on top of that, you also got restructures that I said that are more than they're very possible to happen. I just don't want to predict that right now. So estimated signings with negative 5.2 million. We don't see you guys signing anybody. So that means you got to nail the draft. And I think you guys can very well do that. The first round, we got you guys drafting Kadarius Toney from Florida, wide receiver. This guy's, I think, 6 foot tall from Florida. I'm projecting around a 4.40 time for him. He's a pretty solid route runner. I think this would be a nice weapon to add for Aaron Rodgers, especially if you can bring somebody back like Alan Lazard and you already got Devontae Adams. I mean, that only makes it a lot better. And then you guys know also drafting a second round Dylan Randuns. He's a left tackle. Again, with the missing time with David Bakhtiari, it's a really good idea if they're able to bring in a left tackle to come in and play in that position for the first part of the year and maybe be the future of this team. And last but not least, Marco Wilson, cornerback. Again, this guy could be sitting there in the third round, losing someone like Kevin King, bring in Marco Wilson, let him try to compete for the starting job. I think that would be a very good draft pick. So let's now hop in to the expected 2021 starters. Jackson, go ahead.
All right, so you're looking at this team, still negative $5.2 million in the hole because we had no projected cuts. You're looking at this team, you're looking over the offensive side of the ball. You got Aaron Rodgers, another weapon in Kadarius Toney. He's quick. He's a great route runner, like Nick said, definitely going to help this team in the long run. Dylan Randuns, definitely going to help at left tackle, losing Bakhtiari at the start of the year. So hopefully this guy can step in and make an immediate impact. Still maybe want to address the right guard, a tight end, and maybe possibly another receiver. Again, Marquez Valdes-Scantling's been here for a very good amount of time, so he's familiar with the system. Going over to the defensive side of the ball, you got Marco Wilson in the draft. Bulker up the secondary just a little bit. Like Nick said, you're losing Kevin King, so get his replacement in Markel Wilson. Maybe still want to address the 3-4 DN and an inside linebacker in the draft as well. You're looking at this team, it's only gotten better. This team was so close this season to making it to the big game, losing to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game. Matt LaFleur, ever since he's came in, this team's been very, very successful. And I expect a good draft from this team, and hopefully they can go make another run like they did this past season.
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that they need to add a receiver. I mean, Kadarius Toney's a good ad for the future, but this team is constructed to win now, and I don't know if he steps in and makes a big impact right away. So this team needs to figure stuff out financially. If they can dot some I's, push some contracts, reconstruct some deals, because everyone on this roster knows this team is built for a Super Bowl run. So that means they may say, okay, yeah, we'll push it more back end heavy deals, so they can go out and sign a guy that has been rumored, like Will Fuller, another veteran receiver that has wheels that can take Aaron Rodgers to even the next level. I think that's what they need to do, and I think they need to solidify somebody at the tight end position, because Robert Tonyan was huge for this team this year. Not having him, that's another question mark on this team, in my opinion. I really think so. But this team is a couple pieces away from being able to make a run. We saw them get there last year. They've been there 2 years in a row, and they just haven't been able to finish it off. They need one piece to push them over that brink. I truly believe so. Aaron Rodgers should have another great season. I'm excited to see what the Packers do. They're always contenders when Aaron Rodgers is on the field.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And again, we're not a financial mogul. I mean, we're not going to be reconstructing the contracts right now, even though we probably could figure out a few things. I gave you guys a scenario that you guys should go in and bring back guys, like we said, a Robert Tonyan. Just think in your head, okay? Let's say that they bring back Alan Lazard, right? You still got Scantling, you still got Tony, you bring back Alan Lazard, you bring back Robert Tonyan, right? Those are two huge pieces to this team. Now the team is looking really solid. I mean, they go from looking great to looking extremely great. And one thing when you look at this defense, you still got to establish that 3-4 D end. You got to establish the inside linebacker. These are things that you just got to bring back. And like Mike said, too, if you get a chance to really get into the positives, restructure a bunch of contracts, figure stuff out, like a really great financial guy comes in, helps you guys out, gets you guys $25-30 million somehow. I don't think that's going to happen with the situation with COVID right now, but let's say that happens, or the floor, which is set at $180 million, goes up to $190-200 million. That would save you guys a lot of money. That can make you guys make a play on a big wide receiver that can make this team absolutely go to the Super Bowl. I think you guys are one piece away. Whether it's another great receiver, another great weapon, a defensive piece, whether it's a 3-4 D end or an inside linebacker, you guys need just that one more piece. And I think a playmaker, like Mike said, another receiver, someone that's really good, that's proven in free agency, unlike a Kadarius Toney that you can put out here, could really help this team get to the promised land. But guys, let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. We'll be back. We got our scouting analysis and our mock drafts and our free agency frenzy all coming up soon. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe, stay tuned, and comment what you guys think about this video and what moves you would make this offseason if you guys were the Green Bay Packers. Guys, that's all. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jackson.
From Top Notch Sports. We'll see you guys soon. We are
Built Better.
See you guys soon. Peace.